Meditations on a Year of High Consequence, number 1, part 2. And I ended it with, what we need to do on the ground, the community-based economics, because I like to make all of them a little bit fractal to where everything I'm talking about, a little piece of each. But there's a lot more to be said about all this. And it's a three-sided logic. It's a circular logic. And so the practical, the spiritual, the personal, there's two sides to the spiritual. There's the Jehovahite group action, Judgment Day, and then there's the what I call Buddhites, which is the personal. There's all those shamanic realms. Some of the cultures have their own almost creation. Judgment Day, but it's not as final as this Jehovahite one. They all talk about a transition. A lot of them talk about a transition, and the Buddhite version of the transition is this motherships, and do we ascend to the community of higher civilizations that don't blow themselves up? That's the most of the other cultures that have end days. They don't really have end days so much as transition days. But the Jehovahite one says, no, this is like a special ascension, if you're going to put it that way. It's a ascension, yes, but it's a special one. And then each of us now, individually, personally, can do all three of these. We all need to get involved. That's like a material plane reality, because it's going to be zombie apocalypse or some kind of socialist or fascist lockdown, World War III. Now, let's say the Jehovahite thing is in fact happening, and may have had something to do with the near miss of Trump's brain, the ear. Come on. That's such an there are such things. I've seen them in my life. There's examples of, maybe it's too weird to be, and there's others that say, hey, man, there's proof of transcendent realities, not just spirit realities, but things that interfere with them, like miracle style things. There's a logic that wouldn't be happening all the time. So people say, hey, why isn't it happening all the time? Well, because. What the hell? Who the hell are you? Hey. But at the same time, we're all cosmo head, and it has to make sense to all of us. And the promise of the material plane world politically is that we're all equal and equal access and could all be Trump or whatever, king of the hill, each of us individually. That's what the advertising is trying to pitch. But that's also what the Buddhite says, we're all connected to the source. So that's pretty much the same thing, but just in spirit. So they want you to transcend the material plane before you get to that. And I forgot to shut off my notices. I'm sorry. But then from the Jehovahite side, it says, you better do this right. And we're done with people messing up and all this ugliness. Because there's a certain amount of ugliness that just happens when you're not sure what's going on. This comes from, all right, we're all stuck in the material plane. And the material plane doesn't immediately get you access to higher wisdom, does it? That's why there's all these schools of coming just on your own, on the ground, trying to figure it out. And that's where, and they, now they get all three sides. I want to just get to it. Let this one be a little more abstract. I've got enough of these where I talk about the community-based economy. But I'm talking about the way the three sides of these perspectives heal each other. If people stop pointing fingers and just own what they do know and stay grounded with that, and then open their mind. First of all, spirit. Both sides have to get real about the real, the material plane. It's a entirely different beast, and we're all trying to understand it as best we can. And that validates science. But by the way, it doesn't necessarily, at this point, it's gone beyond reductionist science. So true science is expanding right now. Science is going through a revolution. And it's actually, you could almost call it being informed by the Buddhite side. Materialites, Buddhites, these are all friendly terms. But everybody's too pompous. This is one of the things I want to point out. Now, the Jehovites get they get a pass on some of this. Because pomposity and being on time with the real thing and shut up, I'm the man, I'm telling you what's up, that's a real thing. The leader. There's a cosmic version of that, and that's Jehovah. But there's Sophia. She's back there saying, man, get this right, because I've been waiting for heaven to break out in the material plane, and there's all this antagonism, usually masculine induced. A lot of the forward-moving, ambitious, who the hell do we think we are projects are masculine. Look at the masculine, feminine thing. Each of us do it every time. Every time you think, you do something, you absorb some information. That's the feminine side. And so there's a lot of conflict in the world right now, and all that is not intentionally induced. It's a natural progression from not getting it all right. Each one of these perspectives by themselves has flaws that can lead astray, and each one of them is each one of them by themselves is incomplete. I would say, again, excluding Jehovite one brings it all together. It's the last piece that falls into place and kind of surprises everyone trying to be their own logical thinker about all of it, including myself. I excommunicated myself temporarily. Well, I guess it doesn't count because who the hell am I? But I did get confirmed into the Catholic Church, but I was raised by parents from Spain, where the joke is 100% Catholic because it's mandatory, 50% atheist, because it's mandatory. So people quit, like, who the hell are you to tell me? And I did that move, and I had that visioning when I was 16, 17, which I arrived at consciously and by intense meditation as a senior at the oldest and fanciest prep school where I had advanced placement. Maybe I am previously livid enough to pick a little bit of my own, whatever it is this time. But should I have been famous by now? Please, no. And yet, do I have to? Whatever. Anybody listening, we got to get some organizing here. It's a personality thing. It's personal. That means 30 of us talk, and then talk to the leader of those 30 over there, and we get it to where it's personal, all the way to the top, and nobody fears authority. And is that a Buddhite thing? See, all of these, because Jehovite says, look out for the boss. And that's true, too. God damn it. But the boss can be a nice guy. Huh? But then you have, is it the Buddhites that create socialism? We're all equal? Who the hell do you think you are, boss? Well, I'm the motherfucker who's thought about it and started doing this shit. And it takes that to happen. It takes all of us to make it happen. So stop pointing fingers. I can get practical again. But a lot of if you get into what each one of them is, perspective-wise, and just get into it. Pretend you're a Buddhite. Pretend you're a pure reductionist materialite. That means that makes you more of a Jehovite in a way. It's like, we don't know how this thing works because it's so complicated. But now we have AI. But most of the materialites, who are also Buddhites, if they're going to be spiritual, they're either atheists or Buddhites, materialists. Well, no, I suppose. But trying to figure it out for ourselves, that tells us that forget what you're calling it, global warming or whatever you want to call it. There's a breakdown of the system. And we're going to take it seriously, and what do? Well, if you're a Jehovite, you say, don't worry about it. That's what Jehovah predicted it. We're going to crash. Just hold on to your pants and follow the 10 commandments and keep your nose clean. It's like, yeah, okay. The Buddhists are saying maybe you can ascend with the motherships. And the motherships are, what are they trying to say? Kids, don't blow yourselves up. But otherwise, you think they have a clue what we're doing with all these nightclubs and craziness and all this other everyone wants to be king of the hill shit we're trying to pull here on this planet? And that's the free-for-all global economy. So where did that come from? In a way, that's like, That's beyond all of these little tribes, which I love. But I mean, you got to balance it all, right? And that's the modern proposition. I think AI might confuse itself, but you can get it more as there's a logic of coming into being that you own, and it involves emotional and experiential things like just bliss, vibrational bliss, the different energies that are incomprehensible at first. And then that's evolution. Evolution applies to spirit. The idea there's a multiverse and we're just another string, that's just like evading the question of how did it even start. The idea, here's one that's the idea that it was just some bored one mind deciding, well, I'm bored, let's start. That doesn't. Where's the energy in that? I have a vision where it's strictly like it starts with a feminine and she's alone for a while, and that creates serious like fear and loneliness on top of the bliss of coming into being. And that's where some of the masculinities come in, and one of them steps up, and that's Jehovah, and that creates the material plane. And the motivation there is primal fear and loneliness and lust and love and compassion and all these energies that we know and can barely speak about. And those begin to almost maybe get to where the Big Bang looks like. And the fact that our sun has been there blaring all this amazing light for so long, people feel so temporary. Just imagine that sun's been out there for 5 billion years, whatever it is, or more. No clue what that means, people. That's just numbers in your head. When you become part of that, it better be timeless or you're going to be bored to hell. By the way, Jehovah, more patient than the cosmos. Well, that's one version. But also, the one source and where we all come from, there's no motivation besides to be genuinely cozy, wanting the warmth and joy for everyone. And then you understand, then it goes to creativity and what does it mean now to keep moving with all this? And so these things come together in ways that are existential and they make sense there. But they also need to be dealt with in the material world because the whole thing's evolving. And the whole possibility that we could all be kind of like as cool. Do I need more somebody to pat me on my back besides my cats? No, I don't, But apparently people want to be like rich and famous for some reason. If you had a community that really appreciated you and we all had access to all the cool shit, like, no, we own the beach. Nobody needs to own whatever. And then meanwhile, one thing we got to stop doing is pointing fingers at the rich like it's their fault. The freaking rich are breaking out new ways to enjoy. They're Epicureans. And some of it's shareable. Now, when we get to the place that nobody needs to stress where they're going to eat because they know where their community of food comes from, that's why I say you want to do permaculture. Everybody wants to ground their food source as going to be there. It's just hard to imagine. Can't we get some venture capitalists to invest in this? You can invest in whatever else you want. But let's get the main things together. So the point is that the changes we need, here I go practical, are not going to be us versus them. They're not going to be in the political arena. And they do need to start being conceptualized in the next few months and get something happening in the next couple of years while we have this. The oil spigots are flowing, but we have the Kennedy people absorbed with let's get healthy again and then make it regenerative farming. Can we get people to participate in their own farming to some extent? Have that be more of a participatory economy? Why does the economy all have to be the same cookie cutter economy? Different things like medicine, clearly, and health should not be for profit. They should be more organically connected to what we really need and not get stupid about people trying to profiteer, incentivizing to do the wrong thing. Why? There's no need for that. But so there are other parts of the economy that make sense to be a free-for-all, like, stupid, crazy shit nobody really needs, like art. Huh? You want to make that? I'd rather just give that all away, but that's me. If you give me enough food and happy people and a place to party, I would enjoy some equipment. Right now, I got to pay for my music equipment to get upgraded, and I'm running a little slim because I realized $40 here gets me 2 meals, and it feeds a whole family for a week in Gambia, let's say, or Kenya. Kenya. Uganda, one guy. One guy takes $30, I think. Whatever. But you know what? Some of those bros over there understand we're fighting for our lives and communities and all these happy children. Over here, we're much more isolated. Over here, where it's freezing today in America, Jan 27, and but this is where we're starting new businesses, and we have all these insights. And the Christian side of it should stop pointing fingers at genuinely sincere Buddhites and even materialites. We all have to be materialites. And I want to say, where I'm trying to understand, like, only through Christ. Well, yeah, because it's the one that says we're going to just bring it all home now. The Buddhites only promise that you can reach the one mind. They don't say we're going to get to that heaven on earth thing or heaven wherever, where we're partying with the man at a big Italian feast.